What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Clubhouse Roundtable. We are going to be having one heck of a show today, and we have put it all on Santino's lap to make this one heck of a show today. I am one of the four people you see on your screen. I'm Jason Bahamundi, the founder of Run, Try, Bike, and Everyday Athlete Clubhouse. I'm joined by Santino Williams, who is our community manager, Joe Hardin, who is the founder of Odd Duck Running, and my partner with RTB Awards, as well as the voice of Beyond the Finish Line on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network, and our favorite of all the community members that we have out there, Derek Sprau, has joined us. And while he doesn't have a title, he does more for us than most people will do. So we just give him the title of the coolest. So that's the simplest way to put it out there, which is why you see that underneath his name. Santino, I'm actually going to just throw this hot potato right at you because the world is a fucking mess. And the sooner I can get rid of these responsibilities, the happier I will be.
For sure. No, I got my glove on. I'm ready to catch it like it's like Team DR, who I'm assuming we're all rooting for tonight.
By the way, this is how much I love you guys. I am recording this while the Dominican Republic is playing the USA in the World Baseball Classic.
Let's hope for a good outcome here tonight, guys. But I guess let's just jump right into it then. So as I was saying in the green room, I had come up with a topic yesterday that I wanted to throw out, but it was a little open-ended, I felt like. So this one I think is a little bit better. I don't know. It's just been one of those weekends. And it seems like it's certainly not just me, it's everyone. I had a little kind of vaguely apocalypse now moment this morning when I woke up and I'm staring at the ceiling fan spinning around. And you ever just kind of have those not for anything existential crises? And for whatever reason, this question popped in my head, and it was like, this might be fun to throw out to the guys later. But it's actually a two-parter. One, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And two, in real life, what is your superpower? How are we getting through all of this?
Oof. That is a great question, dude. Yeah. Fuck me. If I had a superpower, I would love to go back in time. And I would love to go back. I don't know why this time period is the time period that makes me want to be a part of, but like the gold rush time period. Like I want to get maybe it's because I watch Gold Rush on Discovery Channel every Friday, but I want to get a pan and I just want to go panning for gold. Like look, throughout time and history, everybody's got problems and everything else, but it just seems like at that moment, you're just fucking panning for gold. Like you're not worried about nuclear bombs in Iran. You're not worried about most of the AI chatbots soaking up water. You're just panning for gold, and if you strike it, cool, and if you don't, you go get a shot of whiskey. Even though I don't drink, right? It just seems like a simpler time. Back to 1849, man.
No, for sure. I totally get that. It's sitting around at the end of the day with the fellow gold miners, whatever, talking about what you pulled out of the river or whatever. And hey, have you guys heard about this new company? I think it's called Levi's. They make these jeans. They're going to blow your mind, that sort of thing. There's something to that for sure.
Get me one of those cool mustaches.
Oh, yeah. That would be
It's
dope.
sweet until a giant rock falls on you in the mine and you got to go to the hospital without modern anesthetics.
Yeah, that's for sure.
In today's world, dude, I think that'd be a honestly.
Bite that belt, leather belt, and let them have at it. Cut my leg off.
They also wouldn't get the $100,000 bill and have to fight with the insurance company to pay the fucking bill too.
Yeah.
You'd have a barber with the leather strap sharpening his razor blade. You'd sit back and he'd clean you up.
All you got to pay for is the bill for the whiskey at the bar where they did the operation.
Right.
You're good, man. You're straight.
So that's Time Traveler, but only backwards. I only
for sure.
Future. I only want to go backwards.
For sure. No, I get now, but see, future, that might be interesting too. And it's weird that you bring this up because this isn't necessarily mine, but I do fantasize about time travel sometimes. And I do think about it might be kind of cool to just travel to like the end of civilization and just like
You're living it.
Well, yeah, maybe a more fun version where you can just kind of like kick back, maybe like crack open a beer or whatever, you know, just sit and just kind of watch the world burn, you know.
I'd go the other way. I'd go back to the beginning.
For sure.
That's way back. Joe's superpower would be working internet. That would be Joe's superpower.
God.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love that.
Seriously, what would be your superpower, dude?
I mean, maybe it's cliche, but be able to fly. I mean, just because, yeah. Maybe that's selfish, but it'd be cool to be like, I want to go see the sunrise on at the Grand Canyon this morning, and just like flap my arms and go. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of pretty rad.
Would you have a
really
saying that right before you took off from the ground, you'd say something to go?
Like up and away. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of right now. But
not
like
to Lebanon and
might
beyond.
have been really fun. So
what was that, Derek?
Yeah.
I said to Lebanon and beyond.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yes. And I would think like your call at the end of what's in your earbuds would be good. See ya as you're away.
Like, see ya. Oh yeah. Bye.
Where would you go to first?
Man, I don't know. There's so many places that I'd like to go. I don't know. I'd probably just start like checking off mountains. Be like, I don't know. I haven't been to Catadine. I've been wanting to go there. Like, so maybe that's where I'd start.
That would be awesome, dude. You just get like all the flying over of stuff too. The view of everything you're flying over to
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
What about you, Derek?
Real quick, though, I have a cap question for Joe that's super important. What color would your feathers be?
Man, I don't know. Can I have like tie-dye feathers? That'd be pretty baller.
Yeah, that's cool. We could do that.
Just like all the colors. Yeah.
No
like
problem.
like the birds in Rio, like a tropical, like are they like macaws or whatever? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that, because they have pretty
the
cool
first
feathers.
flying peacock.
There we go.
I don't know why this just hit me. We are literally building the fucking Village People. I'm a cowboy from 1849.
Yeah.
Joe's got the feathers behind him flying.
Do you want my superpower to be a construction worker?
Dude, I mean, you build stuff now, dude. That's already doing it.
My superpower is I'm the builder guy from the Lego movie.
Oh my god, you guys have no idea how much I needed this laugh. I'm sweating. I'm laughing so hard.
Every time. It's good. Always good for the soul.
Derek, what is
my superpower is pretty close to Joe's, except I'm not patient enough to fly. I'd want to be able to apparate like in Harry Potter, just like poof, I'm there.
Oh yeah.
Where's the first place you're going?
That'd be a good one.
The first place I'm going is mountains in Cambodia.
Oh. Why is that? What's the reason?
It's just a part of the world I've always wanted to go to, and if I had that ability, I'm not going to go within the continental United States first.
That's the thing these days. That might be like a super useful.
Yeah, right.
I got to get out of here quick.
Poof! I'm Canadian.
Exactly.
Santino, you threw the question out there, but you didn't answer, dude.
Okay, so it's been the same answer pretty much my whole life, and I don't even know where it came from originally, but it's a very adaptable one. Invisibility. I think that would be super, super helpful. So when I was younger, I always thought, okay, invisibility would be really cool to do crime, right? Because like whatever. But now I think it's more just to kind of like protect your own peace of mind. It's like, hey, can I just like disappear for a little bit? And it's not even like, oh, I want to hear what people say about me when I'm not around. It's like, I just kind of want to not be around, but still be here, that sort of thing. So for me, it's invisibility. I definitely feel like, again, I may still just do some casual crime with it from time to time. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it would just be more to kind of to get a break from all of this.
It's funny, like the moment you said invisibility, the first thing I thought of was criming. I was like, okay, what crimes would you commit because you're invisible?
100%.
The first thing I thought was little Santino trying to sneak into the girls' locker room.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the thought crossed my mind at one point when I was 14, 15 years old, whatever. But no, it's more like, okay, well, wait a second. Why don't I just like go into whatever store I want, go invisible, wait for them to close, grab whatever I want and leave, that sort of thing. But yeah, hey, I mean, all sorts of antics you could get up to with that. At least that's the way I see it.
I'm going to give you the segment of Welcome to My Brain. Derek, you said into the girls' locker room. Do you guys remember the movie Porky's? With Mrs.
Oh, yeah.
Just
a movie that would never be released now.
Never.
That was the generation right before ours, American Pie, basically.
Yeah. Yes, but worse.
Yeah.
But way worse.
Yeah.
Mrs. Ballbreaker.
Weird Science. You ever see Weird Science?
Yes.
The two dudes make a girl robot.
Yep.
Why was that like on TV all the time? They literally had a show of it at one point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was a fairly inappropriate movie for us to be watching as kids.
Totally. We'll go back to the
very
what is power. But in line with that question, Lori read this thing or saw this thing this morning, and she asked me this question where the guy said, if I gave you $10 million, would you take it knowing that you would die the next day? Right? So you basically have 24 hours with $10 million. Derek, you would say no. You'd rather live than take the $10 million.
Yeah, all
Why
day.
is that?
What do I need $10 million for 24 hours versus a lifetime of experiences? No, thank you.
Yeah, like my first reaction was, there's just, now that you guys brought up time travel, right? You can blink and be someplace else. Cool. But if you're like using today's world, like if you wanted to fly someplace, you'd be losing, 10, 12, 14 hours in a fucking plane. And then you wouldn't be able to literally use the $10 million because there's just not enough time to leverage it, basically.
I wouldn't take that deal with 10 days.
The next thing I thought of, though, was like, if I was to do that, then Lori would have $10 million and she would be able to do as she damn well pleased. So it would actually come down to whether or not I had like a very terminal disease, right? Like,
yeah,
I would add that into the mix. I would have
But if you're healthy, Lori would probably rather have the years with you too than the money.
Correct. I would hope.
Yeah, me too. Maybe it depends on the day.
We are in taper, so she might be like, meh,
Right.
Ask her that question again after like a 15-hour car ride with you or something.
Not to totally go off on a tangent, but mentioning taper, how many bagels deep are you into the taper already?
3.
Okay, yeah, that's.
But
me
I just
too.
finished eating a couple of Pop-Tarts. I bought a pint of ice cream last night, and I was like, I'll have like 3 or 4 spoonfuls. I finished the whole thing in like 4 minutes.
A pint of Ben and Jerry's is only single serving for me.
Oh yes.
I've never not eaten the whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah.
Kathleen Smith, who just ran the Brooklyn or the New York City half marathon today, she was talking about carb loading and how she was trying to hit 500 grams of carbs or something like that. And at the time, I had a donuts package in my hand that had the little 6 mini donuts in it. And I was like, oh, how many grams of carbs is this? And I looked at it, and it was 51 grams of carbs. I'm like, I could eat this all day. I'd hit that 500 in an hour.
I find that, at least for me, carb loading, maybe not, even carb loading, you kind of have to taper, at least the way I do it. And I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. But I do find that, you have that little window in there, maybe, 3-4 days out where it's like, I'm not even counting anymore because I know I'm easily going to hit. Usually the number I give myself is 700. It's like, I will hit 700 by lunchtime. Let's do this. Like, yeah.
I mean, like if you got a burrito with rice in it, that alone is going to get that number way up there.
I was going to say, I'm kind of carb loading 365 days a year anyway. So.
Right? Exactly.
Like, we're all good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've been taking pictures of my carb loading during tapers. I mean, I'll post it to Instagram sometime this week, and you'll see all the shit that I've been eating, man. It's just constant grazing, basically.
There's 35 carbs in a fucking green juice. I mean, come on.
Easily hit that number.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Santino and Joe, would you guys take the 10 million for 24 hours?
100%. Yes, I would. It's to me, it's a win-win. I laugh about it a lot, but honestly, it is kind of my philosophy that, like, for most of my adult life, I've looked at it like, I don't want to die, but I wouldn't mind being dead, which is very grim, I know, but I'm just keeping it a buck here. And like you said, I feel like it's like this. Okay, go out, have a hell of a 24 hours. Obviously, I'm not wasting time traveling, whatever, this and that. So it's whatever, maybe if I know in advance, I'll get myself to another city. But if not, hey, it's whatever the finest Phoenix, Arizona has to offer for 24 hours. And then whatever's left over, my wife and daughter, they can handle that, take care of, whatever, $10 million will get them, however far. But yeah, no, I would. I'm just kind of, at this point, I don't know. Do you guys feel like, and again, I like to keep these thoughts to myself because I don't want to paint the wrong picture. Trust me, guys.
YouTube.
Yeah. But it's like, do you ever just kind of sit around thinking like, oh boy, I've kind of waited my whole adult life for like this event where it's like, oh, now you have permission to whatever and catch your breath and breathe and whatever this and that. It's like, oh, that's literally just like when it's done. So that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, saying it out loud, yes, it sounds even more morbid, but the way I look at it, it's a win-win. Like, get to have a hell of a party, and then everybody around me is taken care of afterwards.
Here's how my process over the course of my lifetime has changed. So I've been divorced twice. Lori is my third wife. And in those first two marriages, I would always say to myself, I want to live forever. And I've come to the realization that I wanted to live, quote unquote, forever because I was unhappy. There were things that I needed to do or I felt like I needed to do in my life because I was unhappy. So if I could live long enough, I could find happiness. Now that Lori and I have gotten together, I have found happiness. Like, I've really found what love is. And love isn't always unicorns and rainbows. You have hard conversations. You have life happens. And so you have to go through that stuff. But I have found happiness. And I told her this, and I have told her this, that if I were to die tomorrow, whenever tomorrow is, it wouldn't be the biggest deal if I compare myself to when I was, 35 or 40, when I was like, I didn't realize how unhappy I was in those relationships. To be able to say to myself, I have found love and I am happy that I have been able to find love, that if I die, in my mind, I can say I died having found love and nothing else matters. So like, I understand like the grimness that you're talking about, Santino, but it is a realization that I have come to in the last 4 to 5 years that if I was to die, I found the thing that I've been searching for in life. And that is to find love and to be loved.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's how I look at it. It's not necessarily like this like whole doomer thing or whatever, this and that. Because I guess it really depends on what a person's kind of checklist in life is. So I can't necessarily say that my outlook is the same as yours, is the same as Derek's, Joe's, whoever. It's all a very individual thing. And so, not to say that if somebody's priorities are different from mine, they're like doing it wrong, whatever. It's just different. And so there's not a whole hell of a lot. There's a lot of things I still want to do in life. There's not a whole hell of a lot I need to do from this point forward. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the way I look at it, is all the major boxes have been ticked on my checklist. So whenever my time comes now, I'm fine with it.
Joe, we're going to put this in your hands because it looks like your internet just kicked on. So we want you to answer any question you have before it freezes again.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think I've made it, like, I've left it up any secret that I feel like I'm playing catch up at this point in my life because I was so stagnant up until I got sober. So I feel like I'm like working double time to like make up for that. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how I feel a lot of the time. Like, there was just so much. When I got sober, I realized I've got a lot of potential that I didn't know I have. So now I'm just like, I feel like I've got to keep like this ball rolling. So that being said, I wouldn't take the $10 million. Now, if I knew I was going to die, like, that'd be great to like set my kids up or whatever. But I'm sure they'd rather me be around than have $10 million. So I wouldn't take it.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario, right, dude? Because I get the idea that you feel like there's life that passed you by that you weren't present for. And so now that you're here and you're on your sober journey, you're like, I'm gonna maximize my time, and to have the plug pulled in 24 hours just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to check those boxes. Like, I just have so many things unchecked because I was like sitting on a bar stool until I was 36 years old. So,
dude, I'm going to put you on the spot because you got 3 people on the screen with you and in your life, and we talk every day. What's the one thing that you want to check the box off that the 3 of us can help you with?
oh man, like, not just, I don't want to start the businesses. It's not that I want to do it for like money, because honestly, I don't give a shit about that. Anything, I care less about money. It seems like that every day, week, or like pay period I get older, I just care less about making money. But I just want to leave, and I want it to be like I did with my time here. I did something as positive as I could and left. Like, I want to leave like a legacy of like some sort of, like, I did something with it, I guess. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I've been thinking deeply about this because I work a lot of hours very hard to build this thing. I don't know what it is, but I just, when I do go, it's like shit. Like man, he really did this time like some good positive things.
It does, and if that's the first checkbox, we're well on our fucking way to doing that, dude. We are well on our way to doing that. So, and I'm with you. Like,
yeah,
I hit the college. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, because in my previous life, I destroyed things or like tore them down. So like, I just want to like do anything. I feel like I want to offset that, if that makes sense at all.
Totally. I lecture at the college level, and the students I have now are adult learners. So they've been in the workforce. They're coming back to get their college degrees. And I tell every class I've ever had, like, leverage me, utilize me, talk to me, follow me on LinkedIn. And this past week on Thursday, I had one of my students call me, and he's like, I'm looking at starting a business, and, I'm sure there are pitfalls that I don't see, and I would love to talk to you. And so we talked for like 45 minutes. And that, to your point, Joe, like when we talk about legacy and leaving things behind, like, I didn't get paid for having that conversation with him. But man, if he launches his business and it's successful, or actually, if it doesn't even have to be successful, but if he launches his business and I had a hand in helping him do that, I'm good. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I think it is. It's
Yeah,
super.
absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Joe.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm done.
Oh no, that's the thing. It's super important to be a facilitator, kind of no matter what your niche is in life. And I think I don't want to sit here and say it's like only a dude thing, whatever. But I think it is probably a bit more prevalent for guys, at least our age, where you do kind of start thinking about, okay, what is my legacy, quote unquote. And I think the word does kind of get overused, but I mean, none of us are going to have like, or as far as I know, none of us are going to have like bronze statues of us, fucking erected in town squares somewhere or whatever, this and that.
If it looks like Dwayne Wade's, I don't want one.
Yeah, that's the thing. What if you got a messed up one? That would be even worse. But that is the thing. It's like, your legacy is essentially kind of the mark that you have left on not even necessarily just the people around you, but that random person who you had a conversation with about business or whatever, this and that, or just any sort of little thing. I can't remember certain people's names or even faces, whatever, but I can remember how I felt talking to them, when I was younger, talking to older people about, how do you do X, Y, and Z? How did you know, X, Y, and Z, whatever, this and that. And it's not even to say that you follow their advice to the letter, whatever. It's that they took the time to give you this advice. It's that they took the time to kind of share with you. And that's their legacy being left on me. And that's kind of the way I look at it as well, is that is how we do kind of leave a legacy, is by impacting as many people as we can, and hopefully in a positive way. But it's so easy to kind of get caught up in the bigger picture. Oh, what have I done with my life, this and that, and blah blah blah. And it's like, only so many professional athletes and world leaders and whatever, this and that. That does not mean that regular people like us cannot have an impact on the world as well. So at least that's the way I see it.
Derek, we cut you off earlier. You were going to say, if you remember.
Oh, I'm in strong agreement, obviously, with a lot of things Joe is saying. They're very relatable to me. I mean, the concept of giving up when things are getting good is rough,
I don't know if you guys have seen Alex Baker's posts lately, and some of the stuff he's doing. And he was on our show the last time when we were talking about success. And so we talk about legacy a little bit here. And one of the things we talked about was what does success look like? And to see him going out there to chase this dream of bringing this Catch Up to Cancer nonprofit to life, it is so invigorating to watch. And I will say this to each one of you, I see the posts that you guys are putting up, and it gives me life, right? Let me ask you this, and Derek, we'll start with you. Do you ever get a sense of the impact that you are having on either a person or persons from the posts that you share, or conversations that you're having? Do you ever do you sense it? Do you feel it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little like what Santino was saying, and I think it's not that I'm teaching or a teacher, but the way a teacher says, if you one person, you reach that one person, you make that small little difference. So we all have those interactions where somebody makes a comment or messages you something, letting you know that they really actually read your caption and saw what you were saying and that stuff. And yeah, I mean, that feels great. I don't know that on a day-to-day basis, I feel like I'm making any kind of vast impact with my social media posts. I mean, it's not like I have some grandiose following or anything, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's not why I'm doing it. I'm not posting things on there for somebody to like or share or anything. I'm doing it because it's what's in my head that day. And if somebody can somehow relate to that, or it gives somebody a bump they needed, well then hell yeah. I mean, that's just a bonus to all of it. yeah, I mean, to me, the greatest impact with that is just the like right here. I mean, the community that gets built out of it, and like Santino's. I mean, none of us are going to be Nelson Mandela, but like just right here, these 4 people, like the massive impact that we have all had on each other's lives. That's enough for me. I mean,
That's it. It's interesting. So I've gone around in circles in my life about this too. I was on Adam Lee's community trail running podcast years ago, and he asked me a question about run, try, bike, and whatnot. And at first I was like, I want to impact one person. And then I was like, no, dude, I want to impact 1 million people. And I've come back full circle to this idea of one person. And here's why I want to have the impact on an individual today and another individual tomorrow. I think we've gotten so far away from what social means in social media that, Derek, you hit the nail on the head. Like if somebody actually reads the caption and comments to you and says what you wrote had an impact on me. And so when I get an interaction from somebody, and I won't shout out their name because they probably don't know that we're doing the show, but they sent me a message to say that a lot of the things that we talk about during the Clubhouse Roundtable, what we post about on our socials, has had a vast impact on their life. Like that's one person that has said that to me, which tells me they're reading the stuff and it's important to them. And that one person has replaced the 1 million people number that I put out there. And now they'll go and impact one person and go impact one person. And I think that's sort of like, again, coming back full circle, like I talked about before, where I was afraid to die. Now I'm okay with dying. If I impact one person, let them be the exponential to the 1 million people. Let them put that ripple effect into play and allow me to just impact another singular person tomorrow and then another one after that, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And it kind of works the other way too, where you think about, if you hopefully as a well-adjusted person, we're able to kind of put these out of our head, but we've all had those interactions with somebody who is just like a total asshole where it really sticks with you. And it's like, well, this is how I don't want to be. So you are, even though that was never this person's intention, and, maybe years down the road, they've become a completely different person as well. But it's like, they've given you this example. They've impacted you in such a way that it pushed you so far into the other direction where it's like, I want nothing to do with this person. I don't want to be anything like this person. I don't want to treat people the way they treat people. I don't want to run around, being that person with a chip on their shoulder or whatever, this and that. And I think those interactions, as kind of weird and difficult as they are, they're very important too, because I think that's kind of a catalyst for individual growth also, when you really kind of stop and unpack, where is this coming from? Why is this person acting like that? And how can I avoid it?
The moment you said that, Santino, you and I were in a business meeting with one of those people about 6 months ago. I was like, yes. No fucking way, man. Like, nope. I was so turned off.
Yeah.
That conversation, I was like, that's the exact opposite of how we're going to run our business.
Fucking slime ball, that one.
Derek, you can say.
I just listening to Santino kind of brings me back to something, obviously a topic that we've talked a ton about, but gratitude. Yeah. And again, we've talked about the concept of having, holding that same gratitude, not just for the good stuff in your life, but the bad stuff. And something that is huge for me that I've definitely learned in the last few years of my life is having that gratitude for those shitty people in your life too, because they've taught you they've taught you who you don't want to be, how you want to be, and also help you really hone in the kind of people that you want to be surrounding yourself with.
Yeah.
And who it is you want in your life and who you want to be pouring your energy into and who you want to be protecting your energy from.
I think that's the thing right there too. I sent this text message to Joe. Maybe it was in the group, but I know I was answering Joe. And it was, I've come to the realization more and more on a regular basis that I'm not for everybody and everybody is not for me.
That's okay.
Yeah,
exactly. Right? Like, would it be cool to have a platform that has millions of people? Sure. But within those millions of people, you're going to have people that fucking absolutely hate it. And they're just there to watch it and hope for the demise or the downfall. And we're just not for you. And that's cool too, right? That's just the way life works. But I think social media has distorted this concept because it's followers, and it puts you in this idea that people are following me, and so that's a good thing. And in some cases, maybe a lot of cases, they're following you because they want to see you fall flat on your face.
Well, Jason, you know, like when you were talking about bouncing back and forth in your head about RTV, about do I want one, do I want a million, do I want 100 million? You know, in my head, I'm thinking about like, it's not even a number for me. It's I want the people that want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I whatever that number is, if you like what I'm having to say and we get along and you align with this, great, be there. And if you don't want to be there, I don't care. So I don't care whatever that number equals out to. What I want to do is be interacting with the people who are, you know, want to be there and want to interact with me, and we're going to benefit each other in that relationship.
Yeah, like I often go back to this idea of like a TED Talk. So let's say 100 people purchased a ticket. They came into the auditorium. You gave a presentation to 100 people, and 10 people came up to talk to you afterwards. You would be over the fucking moon. Like, you would be over the moon that 10 people came to talk to you about what you just presented. And when we look at social media today, so you put up a post and it gets 10 likes in comparison to Joe's post that gets 50 likes, or Santino's that gets 100 likes, or Derek's that get 1,000 likes. You're like, I only got 10 likes. But again, remove yourself from the platform and put yourself in an auditorium. If 10 people came up to you and said, that was a great talk, I really appreciated what you said, you couldn't knock somebody off of that cloud. They'd be so high.
And like you said, you know, I mean, I'm on that cloud anytime somebody shows that they actually read and absorb something and want to interact with it. It only takes that one person. And quite honestly, like I said, it's all I care about. You know, you want to be here, great. You don't want to be here, that's okay.
Yeah.
And you want to hate me for being here, that's okay too. If that's what you want to spend your energy on every day, have fun. Enjoy dying miserable and alone.
That's it. Joe, like for you, because you create awards that are going to be somebody's memory. Hopefully it's a long-lasting memory, and it's not just thanks for the award, I'm going to throw it in a shoebox. Like, do you ever think about the number of, what did you just say today? You did like 200 awards, sanded and stained this morning?
Yeah.
Yep. So
200.
Those are going to be 200 people that are going to be impacted by your handiwork. Like, do you ever think about that?
Oh yeah. Especially if I get to be at the finish line, and if I get to hear like a story, like it was their first trail run, it was their first 10K, 50K, 50 miler. I love that shit. And you know, it's a small community, so most of the time they may make it too. And they'll like, if they like come up to me, like, hey man, great job. I'm just like, and if they'll like tell me their story, like that was my first 14 miler. Like, I love that more than like, I mean, making any amount of money off those things. So yeah, I definitely do think about it. I love seeing the post on Mondays too. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, so yeah, whatever. The money's cool, but also if I get to play like a small little part of that memory, you know, I think that's even better.
Yeah, I got to imagine like every time you deliver awards, or if you're there, like that impact on your soul in a good way has got to be life-giving, man. It's got to be like, yes. I'm sure but be honest, there's got to be some stress where you're like, man, I hope they like the way it looks, right? There's got to be some of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when like every time like you know, however far I have to go to get there, I am like for 2 hours driving, however far it is. But and then when like I'm just like, oh my god, like it's kind of worse having to drive it there yourself and run it than it is like if you ship it. It's just like it's off your plate, to like put it in front of the person. Like, this is the thing that you're giving me money for. It's like, it's the pressure's high usually quite a bit on that, whenever I do that, but
I would imagine.
But do you? I've got to imagine though, like afterwards, it's got to be. It's not even like a sigh of relief. It's got to be like almost like you've kind of released something out into the wild. Like, okay, like for example, we'll foster kittens and stuff. We work with one of the rescues, and it's like, yeah, it's always a bummer when you have to hand them over. But it's like, no, like we sit here and this is, hopefully going to be somebody's loyal pet for, a good chunk of their life and part of their story, whatever. And obviously it's apples to oranges a little bit, but it's like, you got your awards right behind you there, Derek. I see yours, Jason. I know you keep yours on your desk. I have some of mine hanging up right by my desk. Even if we're not like showing this shit off every day, it's something that people can kind of look at, when you're having a rough day or whatever, and just be like, yeah, I did that. I earned that, that sort of thing. So I think there is, something, obviously, I know that you realize how important what you're doing is already, but there's something even beyond that where it's like, this is like a moment in a person's life that you've got your fingerprints on now.
Yeah. Especially if it's a new, like someone that I've heard, it's like their first whatever, then that really weighs on. I mean, I remember most of those encounters. And it's really cool to see them later. I'll see them later at an event and, and they're on to like their first 50 miler. So it's like so cool to like see like a weird growth. Not that my award made that happen, but it's cool to be like even a part of that. And you're talking about a weight off your shoulders. Something I've noticed lately is after I deliver a big commission, I have my best long runs the next day. It's like, it's almost like I'm free. Like, it's like, oh God, I don't have to think about it. Like so I always set it up now whenever I knock out a big commission, as soon as the customer is happy, the RD is happy with it, I always plan like a big run. Cause it's like, I always like today I ran like almost 16 miles. And it was like the easiest, freest 16 miler I had in like 2 months. It felt so
literally
good.
Your
I wasn't
victory
thinking
lap.
about,
Yeah,
it's literally so, and I didn't realize that till on. It's like I have my best long runs after awards, but
do you have a commission where you're dropping off awards before Vol State?
I don't know.
Yeah, the day before.
I was thinking about Jackson County 100K because I ran the 100K and made all the awards for it. It was the best fucking 100K I ever ran because I was just like, I don't have to think about it. Like, we're good. I got 24 hours now to run through the woods without thinking about work. It was nice, actually.
It goes back.
Book of a 200,000 award order deliver the day before Ball State. Joe runs Ball State in 1 day.
If Joe got an order for 200,000 awards, he'd look like me before it was all done.
Whew, I know, man. You're no kidding. Like, you should see my age trajectory since I've started businesses. It's like, oh my God, I have not.
Are you rethinking that 10 million now?
Yeah, maybe I do need that 10 million.
I tell you what, though, my coach, I was coached by Maria Simone when I kind of first got started in these sports, and we had a conversation because I wasn't hitting paces or whatever, and I was like, I can't figure it out. And she's like, well, what stresses are you under? And I was like, well, you see my training peaks. I ran this, I swam that, I cycled the other thing. And she's like, no, stress outside of this stuff. What's going on in life? And I think it's something that we as athletes tend to ignore too often, that life's stresses impact us way more than we even think about. And with what's happening in the world today, like, we have to add that to it. It's not just the personal stress that you might have with a kid or a family member or whatever else. It's what's happening with, bombing in Iran or ICE killing people in Minneapolis and the shit that's still happening. Like, that impacts us even if we don't think about it. And so, Joe, it makes total sense. Like, you're undergoing that total stress of, I've got to get these awards out. They've got to be perfect. I've got to deliver them. I've got to get the logistics set up. make sure lasers are good, make sure I have enough stain and everything else. And then once you get rid of it, like that totally brings all of that stress down so that you can now go do other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was full on expecting you to tell me that you nap for hours on end after that stress drops.
You can't.
No, I just run with wild abandon for the day after. It's pretty amazing. I should be probably napping, but
Santino, we'll go back to your original question, which was, what is your superpower? So why don't you kick it off so we can think about, the rest of us can think about what ours might be.
I'm sure there's a more kind of concise way of dealing with it, but I would say for me, it's just sort of an ability to think on my toes and adapt. The plan never gets so messed up that I can't figure it out. So I wish I could put kind of a neater bow on that, but I've noticed that it's one, and not to say that I don't panic, not to say that I don't freak out about it, but it's like there's always that little voice in the back of my head that it's like, okay, you're having a meltdown right now over it. Get it out of your system, and then let's get this shit figured out. And knock on wood, for 42 years, that instinct has not failed me yet. So I guess maybe just adaptability. That kind of that's kind of a reductive way of putting it, though. But just to put it concisely, I'd say adaptability to the point of it being a superpower.
What would be an example of a meltdown? I mean, if you have a specific one, great. But what are you thinking about that you're then adapting for or to?
Well, it's, as we've talked about in like Beyond the Training and stuff like that, you'll have your training plans and things don't go as planned there. Apply that to business, apply that to, any sort of thing. I always kind of like to have an idea of, okay, whatever the task is, whatever the challenge that, I'm about to embark on is, it's like, this is how I'd like to see it go down, with the understanding that, no, it's probably not going to. So it's not necessarily a matter of having a plan B or C or whatever this and that. It's just, we haven't necessarily planned for whatever this eventuality is, whatever has been thrown at us here, but we can look at all the angles and figure a way through this one too, just like we've done any other issue in the past. It's one of those, I guess, maybe a better way of putting it is just not giving up. And, there's definitely times when, I really want to. I think that's just kind of human nature. I think we paint it with this brush of, being failure or whatever, this and that. And actually, really interesting. Somebody on Threads today, there was a random person was posting a thing about what's the appeal of Goggins and all that bullshit. And I'm not a big fan of it myself, but somebody had broken it down really well, where it's like, he's kind of a broken dude, which he is, but if he says he's going to do something, he always figures out a way to get it done, to the detriment of, everything else. Basically saying that, this is not somebody who's admirable for this quality, but this is kind of his hook, is that, he does what he says he's going to do. And I certainly not comparing myself to him on any level. I really don't like the guy. I think his philosophy is gross and I think he's weird, but I get that part of it completely, where it's like, whatever roadblocks pop up in my way, I'm not going to let them stop me. This is, how I've, not to say that I'm living any sort of idealized version of life after I was just saying, oh, I wouldn't mind being dead earlier, but this is how I've gotten to, where I'm at in life, to a point where I can say, there's not a whole hell of a lot left that I need to do in life, because all the shit that I saw that I needed to do, I've found a way to do it because of that. Because when, whatever curveballs were thrown my way, when whatever roadblocks I came up on, rather than, give up, rather than, just totally let it, throw me off course, it's like, we're going to figure out a way through this. And I've been able to thus far. So I would say that's my superpower.
Has it always been the adaptability in the moment?
Yeah.
So it's more of an emotional adaptability as opposed to a patient adaptability, meaning this happened, I'm going to sit on this for 24 hours and then address it.
Well, I don't want to say it's 100% one or the other, but yeah, it's generally just kind of the ability to, okay, I've got whatever, thinking on my toes sort of thing. There certainly are times where it's like, okay, I'm doing more harm than good by trying to force this right now. Let me sleep on this and the solution will come to me in the morning sort of thing. But more often than not, yeah, it's just the ability to, whatever's dropped in my lap, I have enough adaptability that it's like, okay, let's do this. Let's get this done. Let's get through this.
Derek, what's your superpower?
Probably empathy.
In today's world, dude, you like that is far more valuable than you're even giving credit for in the way you've said that.
Like, well, I say it like that because I think at points in my life, that level of empathy hasn't always served me well. At times, it's caused me to give more energy than certain people deserved.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't ever, even in those instances, I don't regret that. So.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, there are 3 other people on this screen besides me who I could, with certainty, say have given of themselves in moments that are detrimental to themselves. There's no doubt about it. But here's the superpower in that. It didn't stop you from being empathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big thing for me is like I'm nobody special. There are millions of people out there, billions who have been through shit way harder than me. But I've seen a pretty fair share of traumatic shit in my life, and it has never altered the amount that I care or love or believe in care and love and believe in the goodness of people one iota.
I say this to Lori often, right? When something happens traumatic and we overcome it, don't be fanatical about the overcoming of it, because not everybody's situation is exactly the same. And so you overcame something. This is not an opportunity to get on top of the pulpit or soapbox and say, everybody has to do it this way. Right. Like, and
100%.
I think that's what, we often see with social media is like one person has done something and now everybody else should be able to follow in lockstep behind there. And it's like, that's not how any of this shit works, man. Like my traumas are my traumas. They're not the same as yours. If you want to talk to me about it and say, here's how I did it with my situation, I'm in. But if you're like, here's 7 steps to hack your life to becoming the great, like I'm out. I'm just out.
There ain't one running shoe that works for all runners.
Ding, ding, ding. That's exactly right. Joe, we've given you plenty of time to think about your superpower. What is it?
Oh man, I knew right away because curiosity, I think, is my superpower. It's the reason. Curiosity is why I'm here. Like, it's how I've gotten this far. Not that it's same thing. It's not like living in a 16-bedroom home or anything, but curiosity. Like, I'm infinitely curious. That's gotten me in trouble because I get over my head a lot with it. But I think that's I have to say that's definitely my superpower. Whether it be people or like if there's something I don't know to do, like I can't stand not knowing to do something. I mean that's why I had the career I have and I don't even have a degree in the field. That's why race directing is a new thing. That's why podcasting is a thing, like writing is a thing. That's all because I think I'm just like, I'm constantly curious. Sometimes it's exhausting, but yeah, I'd have to say curiosity.
I'm curious why you chose 16 as the number of bedrooms in the house that you created out of your.
I don't know. I've just figured if you're a baller, you'd have like
MTV Cribs, Lebanon, Indiana. Here's my 16
I
bedroom
don't know. I
house.
figure if like balling out of control, you have 16 bedrooms. Right?
Well, okay, but here's the thing. If money's no object, you're designing your house, what is the one thing you have to have? Maybe not 16
A
bedrooms.
500,000 square foot room filled with laser CNC machines.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
That and the world's coolest wood shop you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
But I envision Joe with like hand tools, not necessarily all the modern technology tools, hand planer, hand drill.
I real quick to kind of segue from this, but I just want to say Joe is a guy that is absolutely in everything he does for the love of the game. I mean, he's not in any of it for the dollars. He is here for the love of it. I mean, behind me is not just race medals. It's over a decade's worth of credentials from producing events. In all my time, I've never seen a guy who puts love and care into his events and is literally just out there doing it to ensure that every single person has a good time the way Joe does. I mean, everything he does is just filled with passion. Very impressive.
Yeah, you know what's awesome is the audience that is going to watch this has zero clue about the shit that we talk about behind the scenes and the text messages that get shared and the laughs that get shared, but then the honesty and the openness and the vulnerability that gets shared amongst the four of us. Like, there are things that, there are influencers out there like, I'm honest with you and I share everything, when you're all full of shit because you don't. And we're as honest as we are on our platforms talking about this stuff. We talk about our mental health. We talk about drug and alcohol abuse and body dysmorphia and disordered eating and all of that stuff. But there is something that we all have behind the scenes that people don't see. And we share that with each other. And in all those exchanges, there's always this sense of love. And so I'm piling on here, Derek, is like when Joe sends those messages, like they're coming from a place where no angle. Like, he's not looking for an angle into this stuff. It's all coming from a place of, how can I help you? And then when he asks for help, which is very rare because you need to fucking do it more, dude. I'm being dead honest. You need to do it more. You know that he's needing help. And so then you just show up and you provide it for him because you know he's going to provide it to you. Like, it's just the way it works.
Yeah. Do your, like I said, as somebody who's been producing events for, 15 years of every size, from events that are 200 people to 50,000 people, I've never seen anybody put the love and passion and care into that stuff that Joe does. Do yourself a favor, come run one of his events. There's not going to be a $40,000 finish line, man, but he's going to make sure everybody
feel like it.
Has heart. Yeah, I honestly, I mean, Joe, I love you, man, but like, I've never seen anybody that operates with the passion and the truly inquisitive mind, and just, you're one of the most authentic people I know, and it's phenomenal.
Thank you. That means
sorry
a lot
to
to me,
sidetrack.
actually, it really does.
We're trying to make you cry, Joe. We know you're tired.
I'm close.
Trying to make this like an Oprah couch and get you to tear up a little bit on us. To answer your question, Santino, about superpowers, I think for me, it's really weird. Like, my brain works in analytical terms where 1 + 1 always equals 2. But I think the superpower is how creative I can be to get to 2. And so I've talked to so many entrepreneurs about their business idea. So they'll come to the table and they'll say, hey, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of that. And I will ask them 100 different questions so that they can actually analyze and look at what it is that they're bringing to the table And I think that that's the superpower, is like the never ending, it's sort of curiosity too, like Joe said, but this never ending devil's advocate, not in a bad way, but like, I want you to be so successful because you've thought of all the things all along the way, so that when you're ready to execute on your idea and your plan, and I mentioned entrepreneurs, but it could be anything. If an athlete's like, hey, I want to run my first 10K, I'm going to ask them 100 questions before they press register on that event as to why that 10K is 10K and why that distance and all of these things. And so it's like taking the analytical mind and turning it into the creative mind in a sense. I think for me, if I'm analyzing myself, and maybe my therapist would agree, would say that it's that component of taking the science and creating art out of it.
Then now you get to come and get on Oprah's coach, because I'm going to tell you, as somebody who's had one of those conversations with you, absolutely. The way that you approach things and brought perspectives into my mind and things that I hadn't thought of, and the way you, because that was a conversation I had with a couple other people, and the way you approach things, and exactly like you said, the way that you can look to get to 2 is so far outside of the box where anybody else sees it. And it was so, I don't know another way to describe it other than calming, and gave me a lot of clarity that I didn't have before because of the approach that you have and the uniqueness of it. And
you know, it's weird. Like,
definitely a wonderful.
Thank you. You guys have heard the phrase, like, from professional athletes, like when they're in the zone, the game slows down, right? And so they are executing on it. Like, I asked this question of Lori a week or two ago. When I have conversations with people about their businesses or their ideas or whatever, like, everything slows down for me. And it's not like I have to think to think. It slows down and it comes out. And it's fucking weird. I'll be honest with you. It's a weird thing to be able to remove myself in that moment and be like, why did you think of it that way? Like, where did that come from? Like, do you guys have scenarios like that? Maybe it's
no, Jason, we're not all Neo.
No, but like, if you're cooking dinner, right? Like, it might just be the zone that you're in, and you don't think about the reaction or the action. You're just doing it. It's like almost like muscle memory, right? To that extent. And it sometimes it's just fucking strange, man. I'm like, where did that come from, and why? And it's not always winning. It's not always successful. That's the part of it that I think we all have to come to terms with, which is like, I know we're running over time, but like, this is a question, like, how do you come to terms with something that's not successful? Like, when do you finally turn the valve off? You're like, this isn't going to work. I've done as much as I can, and I need to move on to the next thing and take the lessons I've learned in this moment to try something else. Like, how many times do you bang your head against the table before you're like, I've got to move on?
I don't think there's a hard, fast rule to that for me. You know, I mean, I think it depends on the situation, but
does it go to the size of the project too? Right? Like, if something's really big for you, do you keep going back to it because you're like, this can be successful? And if it's something small, you're like, man, I can move on.
Yeah, of course. I mean, personal life examples, I can think of times where I've banged my head up against the wall a little too long and fought something too long because it was a big thing you thought you were working towards. But, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess for me, at least, it just comes down to the moment. I mean, you know when it's time to walk away from something that ain't working.
Well, and I think it's important too, also, to be able to make the distinction between, is this, really something that I want to be doing, versus am I just doing this for, X, Y, and Z? Is there some, ulterior, thing? If it's something I really want, just to kind of go back to my previous point about, persistence, whatever this, I'm not going to throw in the towel. I may, have to look at it from different angles. I may have to sleep on it. I may have to whatever. But it's like, does this mean anything to me? Is this something that I even should be doing? am I sitting here, grinding myself into the ground for this, for, any justifiable ends, or just to say that I did it? So you do have to kind of take that into account as well. And I think when you kind of sit and inventory things like that, you'll realize that it's like, this would be ridiculous for me to continue to pursue it at this point. So, it's not even necessarily throwing in the towel so much as just having that moment of clarity. At least that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Santino, you talking kind of like a weird analogy, but brings me back to like when I did paramedic EMT work. It's almost like you have to like triage your, you have to triage your goals there. And you have to say, look, this is, something that this is top priority. This is, I got to go and do this. And this is a black tag. It's going in a body bag.
Exactly.
This is why you talk to people. I had no idea that you were a paramedic EMT, dude. Like, zero idea. None.
I've done so many different things for work, Jason. It's unbelievable.
It's wild, dude. Joe,
everything from paramedic to preschool teacher to Subway sandwich artist, baby.
What's a job that you've done that nobody would guess?
Oh God, I think one that always gets people is I was a printing press operator. Like I was the youngest leadsman in the history of the company. I was like a 24-year-old lead press operator, and I printed junk mail for years. Like, so yeah. Very weird.
You still have all your fingers.
I was really good at it too. I was really setting color because you had to like have an eye to set color, and I was good at it from day one. So.
As a person who was a publisher of a magazine, I'm telling you, like those pressmen are so invaluable. My guy Al, he'd be like, "Look, right here, this purple is slightly off," and I'm like, "Dude, I don't see anything. Like what you're showing me, I can't tell." 99.99% of the people won't be able to see it either. He's like, I'm going to have him redo it because it's not perfect. Okay.
Yeah, I was really good at it. I was good at setting registration and good at setting color. It was like it took the guy like 8 hours to show me, and I was like, oh, I got this. They made lead pressman.
Santino, what about you? We're going to end on this. So Santino, what about you?
I don't, I always remind people of it because it was my favorite job, but I worked as a SOM for a really long time. And it was as fun as it was stressful. And there was just kind of a point I remember, just like at the end of the day, telling myself we're not curing cancer here. Like we got to chill. But that's kind of cheating. Cause like I said, I don't keep that one so much. Not that there's any that I keep a secret, but that's one that I still talk about a lot. I managed, huh?
Did you have to wear suits and whatnot?
Oh yeah, I loved wearing suits. Yeah. Oh, that was where I picked up probably some bad habits sartorially, just in terms of overspending. But yeah, no, loved that aspect of it. The political side, both in terms of politics and interpersonal relationships, not so much, but I enjoyed that. But just one that I don't think a lot of people could have ever seen me. I managed a parts warehouse for vintage Italian cars very, very briefly, and that was it was work. It was hard work, but it was I learned a lot. I wouldn't even say it was a fun job, but it was a really educational job, and so it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool from that perspective.
We're gonna have to get Chrissy Murphy to create a sommelier Santino.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right? Like we've got sleepwear Santino. We're gonna have to come up with sommelier Santino.
Oh, just the whole like action figure pack. I love this idea. Yes.
Yeah. I would totally buy that too.
Right?
Yeah.
It would be like this, just all Santinos in various forms of his life. Car Santino as the manager of the warehouse.
Yeah.
Santino, sleepwear Santino.
Perfect. No, I'm totally on board We'll make them like blind boxes like Labubu's, so you never know which one you're gonna get.
Yes.
Right?
Where's Mattel when you need him? We need a sponsor. Mattel has them.
Yeah. Fuck, I already had 4 Sommelier Santinos.
We gotta put another one on eBay. We gotta get rid of this one too.
Seriously.
By the way, Jason, the weirdest job I've ever had was for 3 days. I worked as a banana picker in a field in Australia for Chiquita banana.
What? I know we're over time, but you can't just drop a bomb like that. What all is involved in picking bananas?
Right out of high school, I did a Knowles trip in Australia, and on the tail end, I traveled around. And I was staying in a hostel in this small town in Australia. And 2 of the other guys in there got me a part-time job to earn some money. So for like 3.5 days, I worked in a field picking bananas, and the field was owned by Chiquita.
That is wild, dude.
Wild. Yeah.
I was working with a kid from Italy who was backpacking around Australia, and a kid from Iran who was backpacking around Australia.
Do you gotta like climb up the trees, or like is there like a rig you get on? Or?
Nah, they knock them down. We walk around with boxes.
Oh, okay, you're just collecting them, but still, yeah.
Stack them on a trailer, and they drive them somewhere.
That is amazing. So for me, I am probably the least mechanical person you'll ever meet. Like if there's a hammer, I'm running in the other direction for the most part. But when I was in college and just out of college, I worked with a company that installed telephone lines and computer lines and all that stuff. So all the wires that end up coming into your receptacles for your internet and Cat 1 and all of that crap like that. I installed that shit for years as like a summer job and when I first got out of college. So I can run cable for you. If you need somebody to run cable, I can do that for you. I can follow schematics on where cable has to go and all of that.
Then update Joe's fiber optic.
Hell yeah.
So that's gonna be our side quest for Hustle. We'll get that a few days early.
Fix this.
Yeah. Jason's running cable.
You know, it's funny. Like sometimes I see a plate on a wall, and I'm like, why would they put that there? Like that's the dumbest shit. Like that is so far out of the way. Why would they do it this way? It's the one thing. Everything else I have no idea about, but that I'm in. I know how to do that.
I know you just have that one thing, Jason, but like Joe can tell you, welcome to the world of a tradesman. Like all you do is look at stuff like that, and it keeps you awake at night.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. It really does.
You guys have no idea how much I needed this. Like this was a great way to end this week and start this next week as we move into Sunday night, Monday morning. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. You make the world a better place, man.
You too.
Joe, you want to give us your send off?
See ya.